Goeienaand, good evening fellow South Africans and citizens of the world. And you know when China is on the move, don't you? They start buttering up their target. You know, the main man, Cyril Ramaphosa, or Hippo Eyes. Hippo Eyes. Oh, and don't forget, we're going to have those spoof hats soon. I know Dwayne is well advanced in getting those actually out there. They will be on our online shopping website. And the ANC hat, spoof hat, will have hippo eyes on it. Okay, after that little moment of hilarity, let's get back to the main story. China is buttering up the president, and clearly their objective is to start taking control of utilities like Eskom when South Africa can't pay its debt. Just like it's done in places like Kenya and Uganda and Zambia. You know, they're basically taking over all the utilities in those countries. Now, Beijing's top envoy in South Africa, Ambassador Lin Songdan, on Thursday praised South Africa's developmental ambitions, adding that China will support President Cyril Ramaphosa, and he has the potential to save millions of South Africans from the grip of poverty and unemployment. Now, you got to know there's an agenda behind that, because you just look at what's happening with employment in South Africa right now. It's tanking. And this guy is trying to suggest that the economy is actually growing, which is bullshit. We all know that. Anyway, this guy goes on to say, we are happy now the May the 8th general election is concluded. Sometimes I tell my friends that I'm confident with the prosperity of this country, the economy and social development. South Africa is not a poor country. It has very unique strengths for development, Lin said, while speaking to local and international journalists on the sidelines of a symposium hosted by the Thabo Mbeki African Leadership Institute of Pretoria. Don't you love these new institutes that have just come up? You know, it's incredible. The number one challenge for President Ramaphosa is poverty, but the main mission for him is development for common prosperity. The first strength of South Africa is the resources, the mineral resources, agricultural resources, ocean resources, and more importantly, the human resources. The human resources here in South Africa is one of the best in the world. You are not poor. Those are weasel words. You know, South Africa's economy is in the doldrums. Effectively, South Africa's in a recession. Effectively, the ANC are cleaning out the piggy banks left, right, and centre. And China loves that because South Africa is on its way to bankruptcy. And China's going to clean up, as I said at the start of this video. They're going to start taking over utilities and ports and airports. Oliver Tambo Airport will probably be called something like Liu Qingzhong Airport in 20 years' time when the Chinese control it. Won't that be a shock to the system? But that's where it's going, guys. I'm telling you, that's where it's going. Anyway, this Chinese fellow went on to say, he said South Africa's massive human resources is a key ingredient for a nation to prosper. You know why? It'll be cheap labor. When the Chinese take over the gold mines and the platinum mines and the diamond mines and every other friggin' mineral you can think of, including the coal mines, guess who's going to be down those mines working their asses off for nothing? And, you know, in China, they have an extraordinary system. It's not a communist country. It's a dictatorship. And right at the top in China, you got these very, very wealthy, very, very well-connected billionaires. And right at the bottom, you've got these prisons where political prisoners or people who don't follow the social norms of the Chinese leadership are actually put in basically for life, and they become slave labor. They work for these very wealthy billionaires. They get no pay. All they do is get basic food and water. And that's it. That's how they spend their lives. Slave labor in prisons, incarcerated. And you know where that system is going to be brought to? South Africa. Once the Chinese have got their foothold here and they control South Africa, you watch. There are going to be these huge internment camps that will be put up, and all these Africans that are running around at the moment committing farm attacks, and they're committing crimes, and they think that the world's going to be fantastic for them, they're going to land up in those internment camps. Of course, the Chinese agenda is hidden from the ANC, but it's clearly what they're going to do. They're just going to bring their Chinese model to South Africa. Anyway, this guy goes on to say, the other strength is a location. You are the only country in the continent embraced by two oceans. You could be a production base for the continent and the world. We can produce here and export to the world. Did you get that? We, the Chinese, can produce here and export to the world. That is the most critical sentence in everything that he says, because he's talking about the future when they have taken over South Africa. The third unique strength of South Africa is the foundation and conditions for development. I travel around the country. Your infrastructure is not poor. What? Eskom? The municipalities? It's going to the dogs. I don't know what planet this guy lives on. But you can see how he's buttering up Ramaphosa, can't you? The highway system in South Africa is one of the best in the world. South Africa is one of the best in the world, especially in emerging markets. Yeah, when they're not rioting and blocking the roads off, they're pretty good. Let's face it. And guess when they were created? Pre-1994. Since then, the road system has stagnated. South Africa, if you're not stuck behind a row of burning tyres on the road, you're stuck behind a stop-go. And there you can wait for half an hour. You know, it gets chaotic. But of course, the Chinese are on the move. They're on the move, believe me. He, however, pointed out that South Africa's railway network is old and too slow. He also remarked that South Africa's ports needed modernization. The veteran diplomat expressed deep confidence in Ramaphosa's governance. So he talks about the ports needing modernization. Let me assure you that when China's debt is not repaid, Durban, Cape Town, Port Elizabeth, Richards Bay will become Chinese owned. That's not even a no-brainer. It's a fact. And you know what they'll do? They will modernize those ports. And they'll bring their naval ships in there as well. You know, this is where it's going. This is what he's actually talking about behind the scenes when he talks about needs modernization. And I would not be surprised if Ramaphosa enters into some ridiculous development arrangement with the Chinese to rebuild the railway system in South Africa, which might cost R1 trillion. And of course, they won't be able to repay the debt. And just like with Kenya, the Chinese now own the railway line in Kenya between the capital and Mombasa. That's Nairobi and Mombasa. That main railway line, it's fantastic. It's full of Chinese goods going out to the port, going back to China. Most of it is minerals. That's what happens. That's where South Africa's going. Anyway, this guy goes on to say, I believe Ramaphosa is the right president at the right time. He is the best choice for the people at the moment to lead this country to the right direction. We're very confident of that. We are ready to work together with this country, and your people. Now the campaigning is over. Remember, President Ramaphosa is not a president of the ANC only. Now we're ready to join hands with him, his government and his people for win-win cooperation for development, said Lim. Yeah. win-win. Good luck with that. Because once they got their claws in South Africa, it's going to be a win-lose. You know it's going to be losing. And it's going to make apartheid look like a walk in the park in comparison. And that's a reality, guys. That's where it's going. Lynn's media engagement was followed by a panel discussion attended by several diplomats, including Central African Republic's ambassador to South African development community countries and New Zealand, Andre Nzapeki, and Rwanda's High Commissioner in South Africa, Vincent Kariga. So there you go, guys. The Chinese are now wooing Ramaphosa openly. And as we know, Ramaphosa is a lame duck president because he's got so many factions in the ANC that are working against him, including Ace Magashula, that all he is a figurehead. He's nothing else. He's got no power. It's a joke. But of course the Chinese are very happy for South Africa to go down this path of corruption because it's going to implode the economy. They won't be able to pay the debt. And that's when they walk in. It's a simple formula. All right, guys, please remember to subscribe to be kept informed. Ring the bell to get the updates, and have a great evening. Bye for now.